we started. What happened? Why did we start?
I don't have headphones on. Are we real?
I should have thought this through.
If I can't hear me through my headphones, I'm not real.
If I can't see it, it can't see me.
You put the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable.
Did I name this properly?
Is it being
Did I
even
forget to name the
named?
stream right?
Are we even here?
Oh no, I forgot to name the stream.
Crap, we're so professional.
I should have done this last week. Let me type.
I can't type.
I can't read.
What's this one called?
This one, it's not really called anything while we're setting up the. We're just setting up the live stream. I need to set this to live chat.
It's not called anything yet. You're here before it's real.
Suntory and Cake.
Ah! I've saved it. I also was the reason why it fell, but let's not talk about that.
Alright. Suntory and Cake. Also,
Call it Let Them Eat Cake.
a new...
You missed a golden opportunity to call this Let Them Eat Cake. And I almost missed a golden opportunity to make it called Let Them Eat Cake off the ground.
Bros.
Chilling in the hot tub.
Original. Yeah. Alright, my changes were not saved. My changes are being saved. All changes saved. Okay, we did it. Okay. Alright, now we must pour the tea.
Oh. He means alcohol. Wait, let's not pour... We're still doing this.
Yes.
We are bad at introductions.
We're
Hi!
back at everything. Hello, everyone.
So...
Hello, everyone.
We have a... Oh, don't do that. We have another drink. We should probably drink the drink that we've already made the drink of before we have this other drink.
What?
That drink. Let's have that drink before we have a drink. Or would you rather have a drink first?
Let's drink before we drink, I suppose.
Okay, let's drink before we drink.
Okay.
What a life. Okay, so this is... What we're about to drink right here is...
Delicious.
Is it... So tell me what's in here. I read when you told me, but I ignored you.
Okay. So I made a mixture last night using the Suntory.
What it
All
looks
we
like.
had was the Suntory. And so this drink would be better suited as a Tiki drink, I think. And the recipe would be different, much different.
Okay.
But as it stands, this is
Keep going.
1 ounce of Suntory Toki,
Yes.
2.5 ounces of Monster Energy, and 4 ounces of cranberry mango juice cocktail.
Now, you're aware, I hate mangoes and the juice of them.
Mm-hmm.
I've never had anything with mango juice that I was like, I consider this to be edible.
Mm-hmm.
But this is fine.
Yes.
Just fine.
Ma wife also cannot stand mangoes. She says
Wife?
they taste strictly of parfum.
Parfum?
No, parfum.
Oh, okay.
You know parfum. You took French.
I sort of took French.
Well, I didn't, so you should know parfum better than I do.
I know parfum way better than he does.
Yes. Oh, yes. But she thoroughly enjoyed this as well. Now, here is how I would, here's how I would make this differently. Oh, and by the way, also, this is a stirred drink because, you know, we use Monster Energy. If we shook it, we would definitely have an explosion on our hands.
Which would be
Top
fun.
chat? I don't want top chat. I want freaking live chat.
YouTube. Shout out to YouTube for being the worst thing that's ever happened to man. Okay, maybe not the worst thing.
YouTube... Okay, so YouTube is one of the greatest things to happen to man. Also, YouTube is the worst thing to happen to YouTube.
This is fair.
But... What have I done? Oh, yes. Now, if I made this as a Tiki drink, I would do it instead of... Like, I would shake it because it wouldn't have anything carbonated in it. And it would be 2 or 3 ounces of high-proof Jamaican rum, 1/2 ounce of fresh lime juice, 2 ounces of mango juice, and then 1 ounce of passion fruit juice, and it would be served over crushed ice with a straw.
I feel like you're not even allowed to drink that until it's at least 95 degrees outside.
Well, that's kind of the purpose of a Tiki drink.
That's what I was saying.
To drink it while it's hot.
Okay!
Drink it while it's hot. Okay. Now, Before we taste this cake,
Yeah. Well,
we should get we should make our pour before we taste the cake.
So here's the thing.
We're supposed to be pairing the whiskey with the cake.
That is the whole point. And
Shout out to the whiskey introvert, by the way. She requested this.
So what I was gonna say was, shouldn't we go ahead and finish this drink before we dive into this?
Maybe. I don't know.
So let's do that. Let's make sure that we talk about things before we do them. Let's go ahead and make sure that we finish this drink before we go into that, so we can go ahead and start our topic for the day then.
Okay.
And then we'll interrupt ourselves.
Oh,
to
and
do
by
some
the way,
cake.
there is no pipe or cigar today, for two reasons. One, we forgot to get cigars, and two, because quite honestly, I've never had any pipe or cigar that tasted good with cake.
This is true.
It ruins the flavor of the cake.
So we don't want to snob it up for the sake of snobbing it up, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So we will avoid it.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So to everyone here who wanted to watch us spend 5 minutes just going, we're sorry.
Yeah, we were late enough as it was.
I'm watching myself in the live stream, just like, anyone wanted to watch us do this, you're about to get disappointed. It's not that kind of stream.
I don't know the way the last stream ended.
It's true. Not on this good Christian Minecraft server. So what are we doing?
I don't know. I grabbed a couple things. Do you remember what the topic for today was?
I do, and I'm going to go say it out loud so they know what the topic was. We've been talking a lot about video game soundtracks, and the first week we talked about, I don't want to say primitive because it was the 80s, but the 80s were primitive. Mm-hmm. So primitive. So into the 80s, early
primitive,
90s, and then we moved into the late 90s, early 2000s. And we didn't really do a super modern soundtrack, but I guess we don't have to right now. We could do it later.
I think no matter what, anyone who would be watching this was around for the modern era.
I would hope so, because we're in it. But this week, what we really wanted to talk about was some game series that we liked, that were a part of our childhood, whatever, and how the soundtracks progressed through from the beginning. Could you not?
I hope so.
Gosh. How the game series soundtrack would have started in the beginning in whatever it was, late 80s, early 90s, whatever the time period was, and then up to, it's made it all the way to the modern era, something that's kind of been here the entire time. So I think we've pulled up a couple different examples of what the things that really stood out to us, and if something catches our attention, we'll go off tangent like we always do.
Yes.
So what's the first one you have pulled up? I'm curious.
The first one I have pulled up because this is Final Fantasy. Because
It's a great
we're going. I wasn't paying attention to what you were saying. Did you say?
I know you
what we were doing.
Yes, I did.
Okay. So the evolution of music.
Within a video game series.
Within the series itself.
Thanks for playing, Sean.
Yeah. I was somewhere else entirely. My mind was in a different brain. That's just the way it is. That would be another series, I think, that would have an evolution of music.
Mine's in different brains?
Mario.
Yeah,
But no one likes Mario.
they don't... Only one or two of the games of Mario have, like, what I would say are good soundtracks.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm gonna get hated for that. That's fine.
So this is the airship theme of 2.
We played some of Final Fantasy 1 before, and if you don't know what Final Fantasy 1 sounds like, you can stop.
Okay, so we're going to turn this down a bit because I'm looking, and the music is significantly louder than us, and they won't be able to hear what we're saying around it.
It is Chrome,
So
right?
there's that.
I'm trying to make it a little better. So it is Chrome, right? Okay, I'll lose my mind. So this is the beginning. It sounds very much like this.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as you progress, you go to a different game.
Oh.
As you go through a series, you don't necessarily get composers who are better, but you do get composers who now have the ability to do more things with the technology. So that's the biggest thing we're looking at. The advancements in technology that allow these very talented composers to make this stuff. So this is several jumps ahead in game. When did Final Fantasy VII come out? Is this about very late 90s?
97, 98, something like that?
So it was
think.
late 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Final Fantasy VII is
Also-
is very recognizable because of this theme. It's very good.
Can you explain the name of this track to me? The track is called Underneath the Rotting Pizza.
It's been a long time since I played Final Fantasy VII, but and someone should correct me if I'm wrong. But if you're in the city, like the kind of the underbalance of the city where you go off the train and stuff, I think that has something to do with one of the restaurants there that you have a fight in or something, like a skirmish in. Because in Final Fantasy VII, the beginning is like in this. It almost looks like you're in the underworld of a city. I don't want to say underworld, but slums of, I guess. Graphics were terrible. But it's Final Fantasy VII, so we've got a huge jump here from that first thing you heard from Final Fantasy 1. We have more than 4 voices to use, like we were talking about in the first episode in the series. They didn't have just 2 different synth lines and 1 bass line and 1 line.
Which
is the
I
scientific
skipped to Final Fantasy VII because I could be wrong, but this is the first one that's not SNES, isn't it? Or SNES era?
I don't know if it's the first one, but this is definitely was much more popular on PlayStation 1 than it was anything else. Mm-hmm. In fact, copies of Final Fantasy VII for PlayStation 1 still sell for more than they sold for new. It's insane. Mm-hmm. But yeah, this you could be right. I don't know if it's the first, but it's definitely one of the first if it's not.
And I would say it's the big popular one at least.
Definitely. It's possibly the most popular Final Fantasy game. And we are getting a remake. It's officially a thing. Well, it's been officially a thing for a while, but they've actually released some gameplay, so...
Excellent.
I'm
and
happy.
now we're going to skip
Skip ahead a bit, Rob.
I need to pull the chat out.
Who's the chat?
Oops. What I did. Let me pop out chat.
The chat.
Where's the pop out button? I can't...
You've done popped out.
How do I...
The musical.
Ah, there we go. That way I can put this here and we can keep an
Ah.
eye on the live chat.
I
There we
love
go.
live chats. Okay. So,
Okay,
skip ahead
now
a
we're
bit,
skipping
Rob.
another generation.
Okay, yes. We are on the PlayStation 2 now.
Mhm.
This is potentially the most beautiful Final Fantasy soundtrack. I know it's stretching because there's a lot of great soundtracks in Final Fantasy, but Final Fantasy X.
And in my opinion, the second most recognizable Final Fantasy sound.
Yeah.
Besides the victory fanfare.
Like, you still see this in memes and such. But this fantastic soundtrack. I wish I could remember who composed this. I wish I would have done my research a little better, but this one actually has a beautiful piano. And Final Fantasy X, I'm not going to... If you haven't... Never mind. If you haven't played Final Fantasy X by now, you can go screw yourself. You don't need to have anything other than a spoiler. You're playing and focusing on a character who's not real. Mm-hmm. And they make you push through the entire game thinking that you are this guy, from your point of view, and then you're not even real. They do it so well.
Spoiler alert.
That was a
Seymour's
spoiler.
more of a bad guy than Sin is.
Dun, dun, dun. Go cry your eyes out. Excuse me. Yeah, one of the best Final Fantasy games. The soundtrack, I think, is something that helps push it over the edge. Just because, it has a lot of... It makes you feel, because of all these what they call, lots of words, just one instrument, or lots of, the word's escaping me. But essentially it means one instrument against the orchestra concerto. So essentially it'll be the same instrument. You have piano concerto where you've got the piano playing and then the rest of the music is happening around it. So even the music is making you feel like you were this one entity, and they take that one entity and make it not even a real person. Absolutely fantastically done.
Yeah.
For the record. But this is another jump by this has gotta be 5 more years.
Yeah, probably.
So this is another advancement to where I don't know this to be true, but I'm pretty sure this is not a MIDI sample soundtrack like all the other ones have been.
It's recorded?
This is recorded. Mm-hmm. And you can kind of hear how well it's doing with decay and release and high.
I'm going to go ahead and say this. If this is MIDI, I've never been more impressed in my entire life.
If it's MIDI, it's fantastic MIDI. I've heard some great MIDI. This is at the top. Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's get another jump. I'm assuming you have at least one more.
I do. I have 2 more. The next one is also a jump.
Ah, okay.
To the PS3 era. 13. This is the prelude music. Let's skip ahead.
Skip ahead a bit, Rotha. Sounds like it could have been pulled straight from Final Fantasy X. You know, I was about to...
The very first comment on this. It's such a gorgeous song. They overused the heck out of it, and yet I loved it each time.
It's true. The soundtrack for Final Fantasy 13 and 12, really, is much more uplifting than Final Fantasy 10 in general, across the board. Which doesn't make sense, because 12 and 13 almost seem like a war escape half the time. Can I help you?
No dirt naps today.
No dirt naps today.
That was
That's
13,
12.
wasn't it?
That's 12.
That was 12.
No dirt naps today. It was riddled with terrible battle one-liners. Like, where the person would just say something during stuff. It was so bad. Final Fantasy 12 was almost unplayable. I'll be that guy. I hated it.
Makes me think of the Untouchables. Let's do some good.
Let's do some good. Go watch The Untouchables.
That was an amazing movie.
Okay. I'm assuming your next pick is Final Fantasy 15.
Real quick, I can't think of his name now. What's the guy's name?
I don't know. What are we talking about?
The man upon whom The Untouchables is based.
The guy who caught Al Capone or whoever.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I can't think of his name, but the neighbor, the next door neighbor to our parents in the house we grew up in, believes that he was not a real man.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
No, we don't have time to unpack all of that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not that one.
One last generational skip. Nope.
Yeah, no.
What happened to my generational skip?
You've messed it up.
I grabbed the Final Fantasy 15 soundtrack.
We'll just go back to 13 and retype it in.
Okay.
So spoiler alert, we're about to look at Final Fantasy 15. Which, unless I'm just completely lost, is the latest Final Fantasy full feature game.
Yes. I think technically they were still doing work on 14 after 15 was released, but 14 doesn't count because it's an MMO.
It's true.
And I didn't even include it in the list because
why?
It's an MMO.
Final Fantasy 15 has one of the more straightforward plot lines.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like a lot of twists and turns. They do a really good job delivering it, but it's not a crazy game. You already get the difference here, like the main theme already has multiple instruments. We already hear a violin and a piano. And again, if this is MIDI, holy cow.
Okay. So I'm just going to say this. I have only played the game for 2 hours. I'm sure the story doesn't end. Either the story doesn't end with his initial objective, or the initial objective does not happen as soon as he plans for it to, and so therefore it extends. But is there anything to the plot besides this slightly melancholy growing up story?
This has been out for like 4 or 5 years now. We can probably spoil it.
Really? Has it been that long?
I bet you 4 years. But it was 2015.
The release date was March 6, 2018.
It was not.
For PC.
I'm gonna bite you.
And I was gonna say...
Alright, Google.
And so it released 1 or 2 years before then.
This is a matter of life and death.
So 2016 or 2017.
I will accept Final Fantasy 16, but I won't accept 2017 because it was wrong. 2016. Yeah. And ass. I was gonna say the beginning, but it's not. It's just the count. Okay. There's almost no growing up story. Not really.
Okay.
So you get... he's out of the kingdom, of which he was the prince.
Mm-hmm.
And the opening sequence is actually you fighting the main bad guy who you fight at the
I
end.
don't remember that.
That's the opening sequence.
Huh.
You with all your bros fighting the main bad guy.
I remember the opening sequence kind of being like a dream sequence.
You're wrong.
Oh well.
But yeah, the entire game is like there was so little plot that as you were playing it, it didn't make you feel connected to it at all, which is odd for Final Fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways, so that's to go ahead and now just because we talked about it, go back and play a bit of Final Fantasy 2 because it's still up.
Mm-hmm.
$1991.
I will tell you what this music is. This music is not Final Fantasy II. This music is there's someone getting ready to attack us pretty soon in the cutscenes of Fire Emblem Awakening.
I was gonna say
Sacred Stones, not Awakening.
Yeah, Sacred Stones. No, 100%. No, 100% is. So you've heard that. Let's jump back to Final Fantasy 15 just to hear the difference between the two.
Let's get there we go, the Wanderlust track. That would be.
So this is the driving around the open world track.
Mm-hmm. Unless you're playing the radio. Everything's gone to shite.
Everything's gone to shite. Oh no! What if I just undone? Okay, so I'm gonna down this because I refuse to think about this.
Okay.
Alright, so go ahead and pause that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to we'll do our tasting of the pairing that we've got here, which is interestingly weird.
Hold on.
But delightfully weird. Same, I'll get on that.
Some of our ice jiggled away a little bit, so we needed to sip out the water.
Plus it's a good small palate cleanser.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the alcohol?
I don't know.
The alcohol!
Alcohol.
I will take less in my glass if need be, but I want to take some of this home to my wife to try because she has not tried any of it at all.
Okay.
I'll have myself.
A Merry Little Christmas.
I'll start there. Start
Okay.
small. Where do you want to be?
Just pour me a pour.
You want more?
Oh, sure. There should have been enough for at least 3 more pours in there. We all three, you, me, and Ellie all could have gotten a full pour just about. That's a little less than a full pour remaining. But
she's not going to drink that much of it. She wishes to try it. Was the only thing.
Okay.
Okay, so if it's a true pairing, are we going to take a sip first and then go into the cake and then go back, or?
We'll take a sip.
Because why not?
That is really good. My flavor was tainted a tiny bit because my ice had a tiny bit of icing on the tip. Just the tip.
Because of all that mango, it just tastes like something. Okay. I'm going to try this cake.
Okay. So,
Queso.
salted butter was used because we didn't have any unsalted butter. And then also the recipe itself is not very sweet. So it turned into a surprisingly savory cake. And it's very good.
Very savory.
Mm-hmm. I don't like cake. I like this cake.
Quote from Sean Mobley today. I don't like cake. I like this cake.
Someone may bake a cake that is overly sweet and dry and disgusting. A cake that does not taste good. But it is not this cake!
We're waiting for that one. He did a Lord of the Rings thing.
Yeah.
Nerd!
That's me.
Sure. Okay.
Okay.
Into the whiskey. Into the cake.
What have I done? I'm retarded. There we go.
Into the cake. Right into the whiskey. Into the cake. Back into the whiskey.
Back to the whiskey. What kind of question is that? Of course, back to the whiskey. I don't know if I stated this. Ooh, we have some of the ice melted a little bit. Now we have oils on the top, and now it's different taste again. Something about that. I don't know if I said this when we tasted this neat initially, but we but we had a thing.
Okay. What's the thing?
I don't know anything.
While you're thinking, should we talk about the cake and the whiskey?
Yes, it's good together.
It actually... Okay, good job. You're so in-depth. So...
I remember. This tastes like a perfect cross between like the sweetness of monkey shoulder, that sweet almost fruitiness that you get from monkey shoulder, and then the nice smooth creaminess of Jameson.
Smooth creaminess of Jameson.
Yeah.
I'm gonna punch you just for saying that.
I don't know how else to describe it.
Oof, how about terrible?
It's so good.
So, going into the whiskey after that fruity drink was actually kind of rough. I'm going to be honest. That was a rough one for me. So going from the very fruity
it made
drink,
it a lot stronger than it normally is.
way stronger, and in a way that wasn't. You could still taste like the aftertaste. For me, the mango was still in my mouth. Giggity. So it wasn't pleasant. I'll just be honest. Going into the cake and then going back into that Suntory. Oh.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do it again so I can actually, because you were talking about things that were important to you, and now I want to talk about this thing that was important to me, which is cake and whiskey. Hold on. I'll do that again, then do this again. I'll give my thoughts. But better.
Yeah. Let's see.
Look at all those.
So you take the
oils.
cake, and then as soon as you're done eating the cake, you taste the whiskey. Makes the whiskey
hilariously smooth.
Yeah, well,
At that point.
part of that's the
Water, yeah,
the
I know.
ice and stuff.
But I mean, still.
Yeah, but it try to find out how to describe it. Obviously, this is not at all smoky or anything like that. The whiskey
Obviously, a weather balloon.
but it's a very smooth, like I said, creamy drink. It's just a nice. It tastes good, and it's
It's a great.
yeah. Just like cupping some testicles.
Like you do.
But it does a thing. Oh, yes. And the cake, it's very funny because the cake doesn't detract from the nice, sweet, almost fruitiness of the drink because this particular cake isn't very sweet.
That's true.
And so, like, because of that, it accentuates some of the heavier flavors in the whiskey, but it doesn't take away any of the sweet flavors.
It makes you think smoky, though. You were saying it's not smoky because you were saying it's not smoky, but with the cake, the flavor is so, like, it's such a more savory flavor. The first word that comes to mind, it almost is smoky.
Okay,
For me.
so
Even though it's not smoky.
I wouldn't say smoky. Okay, so smoky in that if you go and you eat smoked meat, that type of smoky, it has that type of a smoky flavor. Smoky whiskey is different in that when you taste peat smoke in a whiskey, they said it tastes like peat is a hydrocarbon, and it tastes like a hydrocarbon, and as far as smoke goes, like, it doesn't taste like that, like hickory applewood smoke that you get off of smoked meat. Like, it tastes like you just ate a campfire, is what people say smoky whiskey tastes like. So it tastes smoky in that it has that savory flavor that you would expect from barbecue, but not barbecue sauce, barbecue. But not. It doesn't taste like how I have been described. I've had the opportunity to have one yet, but as I have had smoky whiskeys described to me.
Well, what I was trying to say is, come down to the barbecuer! Oh, crap!
That's you. You're the barbecuer.
It's true. Okay.
Yes. A barbecuer.
In a barbecuer.
Help me, I'm dying. It's freaking hot.
Oh. Why is he being barbecued? Okay.
Because he's in the barbecuer.
Next game.
Okay.
So
next
another
game series
we would like to go
is
through.
Gao.
Gao! God of War. When did the original God of War come out? This is a PS2 game.
Yeah, PS2 game. 2002 sounds right.
Almost at 2002. So
Yeah.
we're gonna roll with it because that's what I was gonna say. So
The gods of Olympus have abandoned me. Now there is no hope.
And Kratos cast himself from the highest mountain.
this is
Yeah, let's
just
just skip to the actual music. This is so loud.
so God of War. Is it?
Yeah. Look. Oh, now it's not turned on, but they have it. We're peaking.
So God of War was a very testosterone-fueled action. What's Was. No, that's fair. I said was. God of War 1, 2, and 3, and both of the PSP side sub-games, whatever, were testosterone.
And the other PS3
fueled.
game that no one talks about.
Yeah, it was still okay, though. It was just weird. There were 6 testosterone-fueled God of War games. And I say this to say, like, so all the music is very, like, it's all very aggressive and in your face. It's still the traditional instruments to try to sound. Obviously, he's a Spartan. I wouldn't say the music is of Sparta, since we really don't know what that music sounds like.
He doesn't look like a Spartan. What 2 things were Spartans known for going into battle? They were known for whatever reason, all the Spartan warriors had very long hair.
Yeah.
And they were known for wearing such full armor that you could not tell one Spartan from another by looking at them because of how covering their armor was.
But he's special.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't know what music.
What have you done?
I didn't touch it. Music from Sparta sounded like. I'm not sure that they had composers.
I bet they did.
They had to have a couple.
They were also philosophers, so surely they had musicians.
And they had philosophers that had musicians.
Honestly, you can't have philosophy without music. Like, they go
100%.
2 hand in hand.
Very true. But I will say, they definitely went for. There's this sound of music in video games for Scorpion King, for a lot of Final Fantasy, King's Quest VIII, the God of War series. There's this take on. I want to call it modern Dead Sea cinematic music.
Modern Dead Sea cinema.
Because it's almost Middle Eastern, and it's almost old Roman, and it's almost old Grecian, but then it's modernized and made cinematic and like lots of drums and ridiculousness, and it doesn't sound like anything that would have ever possibly taken place in this time frame.
Okay. It sounds like if everything you just described was described to Danny Elfman, and then he made the soundtrack.
I wonder if Danny Elfman was like, these things, and he's like, I got it.
Yeah.
But specifically Danny Elfman, because if it was John Williams, he'd be like, it'd still be better. Danny Elfman.
John Williams or Hans Zimmer, especially Hans Zimmer.
Especially Hans Zimmer. Or...
Honestly, the now that I think about it, the soundtrack sounds like a weak Hans Zimmer.
It sounds like a light, Hans Zimmer light. What it sounds like.
Hans Zimmer light.
No,
Or
your
imagine-
boy, Howard Shore.
I was gonna say, imagine what this would sound like if Howard Shore made it.
Your boy. But yeah, very ridiculous, very aggressive, because the game's very aggressive. The game's non-stop action, except for when you're banging random...
If you guys
Murders, I
don't
guess? I'm
know,
not sure.
if you guys don't know these composers, which you should,
Please do.
you should. But if you don't know
You
these
watched the
composers,
movie.
yeah, my favorite Hans Zimmer movie was Gladiator. It was.
Okay.
Howard Shore, you have to think Lord of the Rings.
We do.
He's done lots of other stuff, but you have to think Lord of the Rings music for Howard Shore. John Williams, obviously Star Wars, Harry Potter, Jurassic Park. John Williams has the best credentials, but he's not. Howard Shore's still the best, but he does have the best credentials though. John
Hans
Williams.
Zimmer's my favorite, but keep going.
Yeah. Danny Elfman. He didn't do all of them, but every superhero movie that he didn't make was based on his work. So any superhero soundtrack
Now, Danny
Danny
Elfman, correct
Elfman.
me if I'm wrong, because I think I might be here. Danny Elfman, his most famous soundtrack about has to be The Nightmare Before Christmas.
I didn't know that was Danny Elfman.
Now, I could be wrong. Hold on. I hate The Nightmare Before Christmas. I want to go ahead and say that. I've never sat down and watched the entire thing, but I had someone tell me that one time, and I never looked it up, so we're going to do it now. Danny Elfman.
Danny Elfman,
So
yeah.
not only did Danny Elfman compose the music, he was the voice of Jack Skellington. Or, I'm sorry, the narrator, not Jack Skellington.
Okay, I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure that was Johnny Depp.
Hold on. Oh, that's wrong.
I'm not seen the movie, but I know it's a. Oh no, never mind. So I know it's a Tim Burton movie.
It is. So you automatically just.
So I assume, but it's not a Tim Burton movie.
It's true.
It's a kind of Tim. Okay,
It's a Henry Selick movie, actually.
It's a Henry Selick movie, even though it's called Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas.
You're right. Now I'm gonna check. I think no, I was wrong. I was right, but I was wrong. He is the voice of Jack Skellington. So,
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, he's Danny Elfman's overly whimsical. Is a good way to describe Danny Elfman.
Yeah.
Overly whimsical all the time, and he's good. Obviously, he does more crap than I've ever done.
Maybe not
He's good.
overly whimsical,
But very.
I'd say overtly whimsical.
Overtly whimsical is a better way to verb it. Danny Elfman. Why are we talking about all the composers now?
Because we are comparing them to how the God of War soundtrack
So
was
if
made.
Danny Elfman wrote God of War soundtrack, it would actually end up being. Hold on, I've got something for this. If Danny Elfman wrote the God of War soundtrack, what we would end up with is probably. I'm gonna get there. Give me a second. What?
I take my sweatshirt off.
Oh. I don't have any money, but here's a debit card. Das Queen.
Alright, that's enough of that.
If Danny Elfman wrote the God of War soundtrack, it would sound like the soundtrack to... I can't think of the name of the game, but it's the game where the animals shoot each other and they made a fur.
Oh, freaking,
Yes.
yeah. So, Fur Fighters,
Fur
which was in the
Fighters.
Conquer universe.
Oh! Oh? Oh!
Yeah.
I don't know things. I believe you.
Well, I mean, obviously we didn't know that as kids because we were
Kids.
a bit more sheltered, or significantly more sheltered than most kids, but
It's a true story.
no decently raised child knows about Conquer, I would say.
I hope not.
Is that that one? Okay. All right. I clicked on this, but we don't need this. This is more of the same.
The God of War 2,
I'm sure of it.
we'll play it. Just to give you an idea of the progression. More advanced, more sounds, more same kind of stuff. More of the same thing.
That doesn't sound good. You catch that? I don't know if it's a trumpet, but the brass. There's a lower brass, and listen to how it like artifacts or whatever you call that in music. That doesn't sound good.
So, this was a style for that time frame, though. I mean, if you watch them, every trailer ever, they were actually a name for them, and this is not a joke. They were called bombs, and I'm not kidding you. I have sample libraries on my computer that if you go to a certain section of samples, they're called high bombs or low bombs, and I'm not kidding.
So I liked how the trumpet sounded. I didn't like that. It sounded like it was too low for its own good, and it started artifacting, or what do you call that in music?
It's artifacting.
Okay.
And in sound production, it's artifacting.
I liked the music, but if it could have been the exact same thing but clear, it would have sounded good.
It was a technique of the time. Lots of movies used it. Lots of games used it. Everyone was doing it. Look at any trailer from this time frame that was a serious movie. Just be like, the screen's black. And it cuts to pictures, bah! And then it cuts to black again. Every single trailer was that way for like 5 years.
Okay.
It's terrible, but it was a thing. But anyway,
Speaking
God of
of
War
Gladiator.
2. Speaking of Gladiator, terrible. I like it. I was just kidding.
Okay. Oh, I saw you lean. I didn't know. I thought you were flashlighting. I wasn't sure.
That's fair. So God of War 2. Hit it again. Play it again, Sam. Down Hitler. Or he's jerking off imaginary dudes right there. Okay. So, God of War 2, very much kind of the same concept, but just a little more advanced. Do God of War 3. I'm assuming you put it up.
Yep. Now we skipped a generation, PS2 to PS3.
We are to PS3 now. Let's skip ahead of it, brother. Almost indiscernible.
Yeah,
a little more choral, but not by a lot.
Yeah, but that said though, you could hear like, here's what I'm talking about. You could hear like the sound of the brass vibrating and had a type sound, but I didn't hear any of the horrible artifacting.
We're past that phase at this point in music.
This was 2008.
I was gonna say 9. We're gonna check it now because
Instagram. Who uses Instagram?
God of me.
God of me.
God of me.
The God of me uses Instagram.
Oh, 2010.
Lord, did you use Instagram?
Lord!
What'd you say?
2010.
2010.
So we're 4 years into the PS3 era then. Which means we've already had Uncharted be the best game ever and with the best soundtrack ever, so no big deal.
Now, that said though, haven't we, by 2010, haven't we had 2 Uncharted games? Okay. I thought it was around the time 2 came out.
Highly possible. This is phenomenal. But here's the thing. Are you ready? Go back a tiny bit. Right there, okay. So this is the actual God of War's theme. If you think of this as a melody line, this is actually a melody line. Not here. That's the change for number 3. You have to kind of make small adjustments to the theme. That was just that's the theme for God of War. In the same way that Uncharted had a theme for.
I'm just gonna open this up here. Because we pretty much got the sound that we wanted. We're gonna put this here. The end begins from God of War 2. I don't know why we didn't play this. Because this music is God of War.
Yeah. That's the most recognizable God of War thing. So you've got the idea. Here's the reason why we wanted to play God of War specifically, because technically it starts way later than Final Fantasy, but then it makes a huge change. Huge. Go ahead and pause that. It makes a huge change in style. Massive. The style, the change in style is shocking.
Yeah.
I have a higher opinion of this game than you do, and I still haven't beaten it, but so don't spoil it for me. If you do, I'll poke you dead in the left eye.
There's not much to spoil.
Don't do it anyways.
Oh, I'll say this. They wanted a moment at the end to go. Instead, the moment at the end is just,
That's fair. The switch from the first 3, we'll say 6, first 6 God of War games to God of War is they're trying to convey the fact that he's older, he's been married, he's had a kid. They're trying to convey that.
he's been married again and had another kid.
Okay, but I mean since then. So he's old now. He has a much more measured approach to everything, and the music reflects that a lot. But we've also switched. This is the really important thing. We've exhausted Greek philosophy.
Yeah,
we've
killed everyone.
We've killed everyone.
Destroyed the Pantheon.
So it's gone. So we are now in essentially just Norman.
The Normans were French.
Stop talking to me. Anglo-Saxon philosophy. Yeah. So we're now over to all of the Norwegian.
No, the Goths were French.
That's kind
The
of
Normans
what I
were.
meant.
I guess the Normans were also French.
You're close. We're now into more Norwegian metal. We are now into
get
like the World Serpent, and I think there's a reference to Sifk. Who is it? Which wolf is the Great Wolf in this particular mythology?
I don't remember.
The one who eats Odin.
Yeah, I forget his name.
I thought it was Sif.
Yeah, Sif is from Dark Souls.
Oh, thank you. It's still too early for me.
And the word you're looking for is not Norman, it was Nordic.
Nordic, thank you. Again, it's too early for me.
Yeah.
Balls.
This is about the time I'm up for a long time.
Anyway, go ahead and play this. This is important. So they still kept some of the intensity, but it's nowhere near the same pace.
If the soundtrack for Skyrim was a lot more basic,
German Soul would not be. What? German Soul would not be. Skip ahead to a different track. What's really important.
skip ahead there, mother. This says mother on the thing.
There's a lot more overall emotion in this entire game and soundtrack, but the soundtrack specifically. Like the opening theme would make you think, oh, we're playing another God of War game. The rest of the game will not leave you with that. It's much clearer.
Okay. So I'm gonna say this.
Cake.
None of my problems with this game.
Cover soundtrack.
Oh no, definitely none come from the soundtrack. None of my problems with this game stem from the plot of the game, and the soundtrack does an amazing job of showing the plot of the game and how it has, how everything has changed, how it's different, how Kratos has changed, how he's, I guess, kind of grown up, how he's, he's gone out of that vindictive stage. Instead of actively hating the gods, he passively hates them now. And, like, he's just older. He's an old man now, which doesn't make any sense because he's a god. Like, he's a demigod turned god. He should not be an old man. That doesn't make sense.
Demigod turned god to demigod.
Yeah.
Still god, I guess.
He's a... And so, I guess he's only an old man plot-wise, he's only an old man in mind. Gameplay-wise, he's also a fragile old man physically. But plot-wise, he's in his mind, he's grown up, he's an old man, and the music does a very good job of reflecting that. And I don't have any problems with that or the plot or Kratos has changed from there to there, and then the music does such a good job of showing all of that.
I agree. I can't wait for a sequel to this game. I'm excited for it and you're not.
Yeah, I'm not excited for it, but I'm gonna play it. That's just the way it is.
I bought this soundtrack on vinyl because I'm a nerd, and we actually listened to this.
Well, you're a nerd!
We actually listened to this while we play Call of Duty because everyone likes music that kills the mood. But it's great. It's genuinely fantastic. Speaking of which, I just bought a vinyl that just came to be real, and now it's just the atmosphere from Skyrim. Just the walking around music.
Oh, speaking of music that kills the mood.
Oh.
I don't know if such a thing exists, but if it does, next time you intend to engage in intercourse, look up and try
on my drive home.
Look up and try to find any form of audio footage of singing by Steve Buscemi.
Audio footage? I've never heard Steve Buscemi sing.
Audio recordings? I've never heard him sing either, but if you know it's him, just imagine your face while you're intercoursing.
Imagine my face or his,
his face? Oh, either one. They're both bad.
Nut! Alright. We kind of talked about it now.
Yeah. Wait, which of the woods? Which one?
The god. The one who's a goddess, technically.
Which witch is the right witch?
The main witch.
Oh, yeah. No,
the one that we keep coming back to.
Do you know who she is?
Yeah, I met them.
Okay. Your sister Frida.
It's Frida. Shut up.
Think about confusing Dark Souls with
Sister Frida and
Norse mythology.
They're back. So this is one of the points I wanted to make about modern video game soundtracks.
That is better?
obviously, but there's so much more measured because we found out even in the mid 2000s they could make these giant orchestral offerings and stuff. But then you have the mood of games has changed a lot, honestly. You have soundtracks for like this God of War game, The Last of Us, A Plague's Tale, which is coming out soon. It's phenomenal. The Sinking City, A Plague's Tale.
Oh.
It's pretty good.
I said a plate's tale.
Plague's Tale. Tale of Plague.
Tale of
of
two
Two
plates.
We were close.
Just about.
They're much more mature. They're much more complex in ways of specifically like grabbing emotion. So back before you were using MIDI, you couldn't really make the instruments have emotion or have the right kind of decay that a real instrument does. So they went away from that and pushed more for the getting emotion out of being aggressive and pounding and forward, because you could still emulate that. Now that we have the ability to just record it and put it into the game and like trigger it in the right way at the right time, we want it to be more emotional now because it's the first time we've had the ability to. Unlike movies, which have had this ability since there's been movies, games are just now getting into this in the past 5 years or so. IMO.
Okay, so this is going to sound bad unless you
bad.
know what I mean.
I don't know what you mean. So it's
I absolutely love good video game music, but my favorite video game music is when there's music.
instead of a video game?
When there's music and you're in a spot and the music is playing, and at that point the music's playing, and then also at that point you realize the striking contrast of 30 seconds before when you didn't realize there was no music playing until the music started playing.
Journey.
Yeah. That was...
Journey is the prime example of how a soundtrack can make the simplest, most weird game of all time turn into something genuinely fantastic.
Journey
great
is...
for that.
I think Journey is the only game that... I guess Abzu. That, technically speaking, did not have any gameplay. And it wasn't fun, but I still enjoyed playing.
I enjoyed it. You could beat it in an afternoon, and a third of the afternoon. And I have never felt so much like wanting to explore something that had no reason to be explored, and being anxious for something that had almost no reason to be anxious.
You ever played
It's-
Abzu?
I never did, but I saw it.
Like,
I
Abzu
also
is just...
played it.
Abzu is just Journey plus marine biology.
Okay.
And which is fair, and it's I think it's good.
That's fair. Stretch!
Okay. Do you feel we've exhausted the topic?
I do.
Okay.
I feel exhausted.
Well, in that case, since it's not our time yet,
Not quite.
you said the last soundtrack was the last soundtrack on modern stuff. You talked about how it's so much more mature than the older soundtracks.
Sure.
I'm going to use that as a segue into the thing that you know nothing about. Something
This
that
could
is
be anything.
something that is very immature.
I know nothing about immaturity. What is about to happen?
I'll go first.
What? I don't know what's happening, and I'm scared to death.
Tyler,
Sean.
give me a past tense verb.
I guess chat.
Give me an adverb.
Which one's the adverb again?
How, when, or where.
Yeah, you could just say there, technically, right? No.
So I'd rather not have there. I also will not accept not, even though that is an adverb. I guess not could work, since it's immediately followed by a verb, but...
11:30. No. Does that work? It's a time, technically.
You could use at 11:30. You could
Later.
Later.
Later
Yeah.
works. Later hosen. No?
Okay.
Are we doing a Mad Lib?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do I have a hard book or something like that around here?
You have a pizza box.
Pizza box will work. Who owns will work. Okay.
Horns,
Past tense verb.
horns will do.
Another past tense
That
verb.
was really good. Screw you.
Yeah, from the audio drama. Yeah, it was
Jeez.
quite good.
Okay, hit me again.
Past tense verb.
Ooh, I already used shat.
You did. You've already shat.
I've already shat. Spat. I like
Spat.
rhyming. Shat.
Another
and spat.
adverb.
Another adverb.
Mm-hmm.
Soon?
Soon.
This is a complicated Mad Lib.
An adjective.
Ooh, swiftly.
Swift.
Why not swiftly?
Because that's an adverb.
It's not.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. I had to
A
think about
past
it.
tense verb.
Good lord.
Okay, so it looks like all the verbs in this are past tense, other than used in direct quotes.
Past tense verb.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do 8.
Oh.
Not the number 8.
I was confused.
An 8.
Another past tense verb.
Good lord. Ran.
A noun.
I feel like all the fun stuff's going to be what's already there. Mickey Mouse.
Mickey Mouse.
MICKEYMOUSE.
Past tense verb.
Let's do. Thanks.
You're welcome, bro.
Is pizza a word?
Pizza? I believe not. Will it pizza?
Yes.
In that case, pizza is a verb.
It will pizza, therefore.
Let's talk about that.
Drove.
Drove.
Not in droves, but drove. Not a drove of pheasants, but you know what? I'm going to stop
I think I'm
explaining.
going to say
myself.
driven.
Oh, okay.
But that works better with this
It makes me
sentence.
sound like I am driven, which is a current. Current.
Plural nouns.
Kill me.
Oh!
Baguettes.
Oh, I know why. Because this shouldn't be a past tense verb.
Would you say it's a thing that should not be?
Yes. It should be an adjective.
Ah, poorly.
Poor. You're still giving me adverbs.
I know. I'm catching
Plural
it.
noun.
Did you like the one I gave you? Or is there another one?
I must not have heard the one you gave me.
Which one did I give you?
I don't know.
Plural nouns. Baguettes. I'll have some baguettes.
Baguettes.
Baguette.
This says first few letters of a body part. I think just give me a body part.
What? A phalange.
Phalange. I wonder which one.
The 11th one. Well, the 11th one.
Yeah, but where are you starting?
The bottom. Now we're here.
Okay, so one of these is the 11th
Technically,
phalange.
isn't there technically a separate term for your toes versus your fingers with phalanges?
No, they're all phalanges.
I thought there was a separate term for toes versus fingers with phalanges.
They just
I'm
put that out
talking
against
about
them
my
at the end.
penis.
Oh, yeah, your penis is not a phalange.
Oh, well then never mind. I don't care about that
Plural noun.
one. Peni. Yeah, I said penis. Let's see. Lamps.
Past tense verb.
Oh, I did a little exercise that makes you more imaginative. I'm not kidding. This is a real thing.
Okay.
Stable.
Stapled. Noun.
Globe.
Globe. An occupation.
Shrubber.
Past tense verb.
Road.
Plural noun.
Swords. S-words.
Okay. Past tense verb.
Smoked. In any of the ways you wish to use smoked.
Okay. This says noun. It actually should be an adjective.
Ugly.
Oh, by the way, last one, the globe and shrubber.
Oh, by the way.
These were wrong.
What?
So I need an adverb instead of the noun, and an adjective instead of the occupation.
An adverb
Yes.
would be mixed.
You said mixed.
Yeah.
That'll work as the adjective.
Mixed is not an adjective.
Yes, it is.
If you're mixing something, it's not an adjective.
It has been mixed. It is a mixed drink. That is an adjective. Mixed
Well, you
describes
say
a
like
noun.
that. If you're mixing something, though.
That mixing is a verb.
Isn't that what you asked for?
An adverb.
Oh! Well, screw you. Recently.
All the adverbs you've given me all have to do with time.
Do you have a problem with this?
No. A verb.
Ran?
Give me a verb ending in ing.
Oh! Spelunking. I don't know what's wrong with me.
Okay, give me another verb ending in ing.
Catering. You don't like that one.
Catering. Adverb.
Willingly?
Okay. A noun.
Box. This is the weirdest ad lib I've ever done.
Okay. Give me an occupation.
Therapist.
Give me a verb.
Shockingly.
Verb.
I guess it's an adverb, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm really bad at English. I really am.
Mm-hmm.
Should verb?
Yes.
Let's do trot.
Trot. Okay. Adverb.
Quickly?
Okay. All right.
Oh, we're done. All right.
The name of this is Aragon Fanfiction.
All right. I used all the wrong adverbs then.
Yeah, exactly. Aragon shat later.
What?
He felt the wind against his face as Saphira spat gracefully across the sky. Soon he heard a swift crash below him. He ate hold of the reins and ran over the Mickey Mouse of his dragon. Aragon was poor. Below him were people shooting baguettes out of their phalanges. Oh, never mind, they have lamps. Aragon stapled to Saphira, recently to be mixed.
Oh.
Saphira rode down in a spiral for the swords. When they had smoked, Aragon had to take ugly action. You, yeah, you. What do you think you're spelunking? Where do you come from? Why the heck are you catering down a willingly good box? Because we're therapists? Oh, well, trot on then. Aragon had quickly learned not to mess with therapists.
Hecking right. Oh,
I've not read any of these. I just grabbed one. A lot of them are multiples in a series. I just grabbed the only one I had not
there's
seen
a lot of these.
in a series.
Hopefully you're quicker than me because I'm slow.
Yeah.
Give me a name.
A name. Johnny Fallopian Tube.
Oh, okay. Hold on. I forgot to spell fallopian.
Falloppian.
Your name?
My name?
Yeah.
Sean.
I was double checking. Hobby?
Hobby. Let's say,
Let's say that.
collecting pee bottles.
And poop socks? Noun plural.
Noun plural, that's going to be, toadstools.
Toadstools. Career.
Career. Let's say jockey.
Alright. Adjective.
Adjective. Weird.
Name.
Name. Billy Bob Thornton.
Billy Bob
Thornton.
Thorne. The guy who banged Angelina Jolie.
Really?
Adjective. A lot, actually. It was a weird story.
Alright.
Adjective.
Adjective.
The 90s were weird.
Yeah. Let's say...
You did say,
Awful.
Awful. Sport or game?
Sport or game? Tiddlywinks.
I do love a good match of tiddlywinks.
I don't know how to get tiddlywinks to go.
It's hard. Adjective.
Adjective. Sultry.
Ooh. Name.
Name.
Tim?
Tyler the Tard.
It's me.
You can do T-A-R-D or T-A-R-R-E-D. I don't care which.
I'm doing T-R-E-D because I actually am tarred and feathered, and that's what we're talking about. Career.
Career. Let's say tax collector. I said jockey and tax collector. What was I referencing?
The Bible.
When the winning horse came down with stress, on his back he had a jockey and 2 tax collectors.
I'm just holding the pen still. You're making the shapes on your arm.
Cool.
Noun
It's a
plural.
smile. Noun plural. Let's say aninome.
In
I assume it's aninome, not an enemies.
enemies.
I would say aninome, but either way.
You just did.
Yeah.
You'd say anime because you're a weeb. Name.
Name. So many names. Let's go with
Adrenaline.
Bobbert Tobbert.
Bobbert. Tobbert. Noun plural.
Noun plural. Let's go.
We're not even halfway done.
Excellent. French fries.
French fries. Food flavor.
Food flavor. Let's go with my personal favorite, raspberry.
Raspberry. Your name.
My name is Sean Still.
Sean
Still.
Still. Number.
Number 1492.
Good year. Adjective.
Adjective. Dumb.
Place.
Place. Let's go with Bangkok, Thailand.
I'm just gonna put Bangkok
Okay.
because I think everyone knows what Bangkok is.
I think most people don't know where Bangkok is. They just know the name.
You just know about ladyboys. Food.
Food. Oh. Tamage kake gohan.
So I can write that down and forget how to pronounce it by the time we get there, or you can give me one that's a little bit easier to spell and pronounce.
I think if you were done, you know how to pronounce Tamage kake gohan. It's a Japanese dish.
Really?
Yeah. It if you translate it in English, it means eggs over rice.
Tomigahi Gohan.
Tamage gohan.
Dessert.
Dessert. Tiramisu. Let's keep on the same.
Tiramisu.
I should have said Cthulhu cake.
We have some. Adjective.
Adjective.
By the way, if you want to know what the cake looked like before we ate it, it was Cthulhu designed. Go to the Instagram we have linked on our YouTube. It looks great.
It's really cool. My wife is a culinary genius.
It's a great mother attacking cake. I'm going to make it at least 7 more times today.
Let's see. But while we're here, my adjective will be Lovecraftian.
Perfect. Which is hilariously a real word.
Adjective.
Adjective. Overused. Does it go great with the sentence?
That one did.
All right.
Movie.
Movie. We've been talking about The Gladiator, or just Gladiator, isn't it? We've been talking about it quite a bit. So let's do that.
Gladiator. Adjective.
Adjective. Living.
Okay. Feeling.
Feeling? Oh, like an abstract noun. Let's say hatred.
Okay. One of the 5 senses.
One of the 5 senses. Touch. Okay.
An age.
An age. Let's go with 11.
Place.
Place. Branson, Missouri.
It's on 2 pages long. Good lord. I was gonna put down brain. Okay, I'll put down Branson, Missouri. Misery.
Branson, Missouri. Well,
Noun.
Noun. Let's go with left nut.
Oh, that's fine.
That's just fine.
That's page number 1, and I've dropped everything that's important to me. Namely this.
Your children?
Namely the no, my 1/8 inch to 1/4 inch adapter, you idiot.
Oh.
Duh. Noun plural.
Noun plural. Drinks.
Okay. Starting to get a little rough, by the way. Body part.
Body part. Let's go with
This is like the tea of whiskey, by the way.
yeah, it's good though.
Yeah.
Taint.
Okay. Pick a number 1, number 2, or number 3.
Number 1, number 2, number 3. Let's go with 2.
Okay.
Right in the center.
Feeling.
Feeling malice.
And another feeling.
Another feeling. Pause.
Okay, that's a real one. Noun plural.
Noun plural. Breasts.
Okay. Adjective.
Handcuffed.
We're done.
All right.
I'll see you guys later.
Bye, guys.
This is called the Dating Game Show. So I have to use the announcer voice.
The dating game show.
That's
the dating game show.
Brian Dern Show. Hello and welcome everyone to the Dating Game. I'm your host, Johnny Fallopian Tubes. Let's introduce our guest, Sean. Their hobbies consist of collecting pee bottles and toadstools. They want to be a jockey and find a way to treat them like royalty. Next, let's introduce the future lovebirds. Door number 1 is a weird person named Billy Bob Thornton. They're awful and like playing tiddlywinks. Door number 2 is a sultry person named Tyler the Tard. I thought it was tainted, I forgot. Whose goal in life is to become a tax collector and likes anemone. What do we decide? He loves anemones. Lastly, door number 3 is a person named Bobbert Tobbert who collects french fries for a living and likes to drink raspberry-flavored protein shakes. Well, Sean's... This is hilarious when he said Sean Still. Will Sean Still find their dream to live single for 1,492 more years? Let's begin this dumb game show. This is from you. Door number 1, I love going out. In your opinion, what's the ideal place to go on a date? Number 1. Babe, I would take you to Bangkok and buy you tamagama flavored tiramisu for dessert. I would love to see that Lovecraftian smiles of yours reach to my overused lips. You, okay. Door number 2. If you had to describe our relationship like a movie, what movie would you say? Door number 2. I would say Gladiator. Because whenever I see that living movie, it makes me feel hatred. Just like how I feel when I touch your eyes. Door number 3. It's my 11th birthday. What kind of present would you get me? Door number 3. To be honest, I would take you on a trip to Branson, Missouri and give you a beautiful 11 nuts. Hey, it's Jim Hansen. You have a seat right here.
Jim Hansen.
I know, I forgot that this is Jim Hansen. You have a seat right here.
It's actually this Jim Henson. Chris
know.
Hansen is the.
I got the two mixed up. I would also buy you drinks because they're warm like your taint. All right. We have reached the end of the questions. Why do you ask? Because the more questions we will ask would make this Mad Lib too long. I mean, dating show. I mean, okay. Who would you like to be your new mate? We'll jump right to that part. You. I will choose number 2 because they were extremely hot and my type. They made me feel malice and pause for my future. Well, there you had it, everyone. That was a dating game. Join next time. We'll help a single woman obsessed with breasts find her new handcuffed man. What the crap did I just read?
Just so you know, we need to do more of these in our time later. I'm just going to show you the list that I have. So,
Hamlet.
Nuclear Job Part 1, 2, or 1, 2, and 3. Okay. The Hamlet, I made this Hamlet one myself, so I know all the parts of speech are correct.
Okay.
My Ideal Dream Man, the parts of speech are not correct in this one. They'd have to be fixed.
You mean you don't have an ideal man?
And then, of course, we have the Piranha Brothers, Monty Python Parts 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, that's beautiful. Whoever makes Mad Libs, God bless you.
I made this one.
Sean, God bless you.
But yeah. Okay.
Well, that was the thing. We've done the thing. The thing is done.
We've done it. We
did it!
Oh,
Hooray!
yeah. No eating here tonight.
Oh, I went in a different direction. I went with Dora.
Okay. Now I have to find a musik.
We do. Oh, wow. We didn't talk about a musik for today.
No, we didn't.
Is it your week to have a suggestion, or was it your last week your week?
Last week we did Periphery, so I assume it was you.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
I don't think that's correct, Sean. I bet if you pulled it up, we did something after
Oh,
Periphery.
yeah, we did. Periphery was 2 weeks ago. We did Powerwolf last
We
week.
did Powerwolf last week, so it's my turn to suggest a suggestion.
Okay.
I'm trying to figure out if I should throw it back or if I should make it something current again.
I don't care what you do.
Let's play a new song off of... Oh, I know what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. There's a great band / project by... That's so disgusting. Someone that I genuinely think is a fantastic individual.
Me.
Yeah, it's you. You made some music. Good job. This guy's name is Victor Miranda Martin.
Victor?
I'm trying to find... K-E-O-R is the name of this band.
K-E-O-R.
I want to say Kior, but I've never tried to pronounce it properly. It's K-E-O-R.
Kira Meteor?
Petrichor is the... Oh, no, Petrichor is the top one.
Oh, okay.
That's the name of the album. It doesn't really matter when you play. This is like a proggy rock kind of a thing. Just play Reno. It doesn't really matter.
Okay, The Nest of Evil.
Yeah. This is Meteorite.
Or Snivel by the Pond. I'm sure.
It is called
A Suspended Fourth.
Trito. Never said it all at midnight.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it sounds
Listen to Patrick
pretty
Moore.
neat.
It's a great album by a great
it's
band.
awesome.
He's a great guy.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna throw this out here
Throw
real
it out.
quick.
Throw it straight out. Get rid of it.
I'm going to ask you this question live because I want to know the answer, and it would be informative I almost said infotainable. That didn't sound any sense
I
to
don't
me.
think it's real, so...
Yeah, it would be informative for them too. I want you to tell me why I think these sound similar.
Okay.
Okay?
I don't know if they are yet,
So-
but I'll tell you.
You Can't Save Me by Richie Kotzen. Just the intros.
Is there a reason why my right ear isn't working in this, by the way?
Why not put it in there? Okay.
Okay.
Why that and this to me have a why that sounds similar to
You
me.
want to play The Great Adventure?
No. why those two intros, like, give me a musical reason why those two intros sound similar to me.
It's something called, I'm trying to remember the correct term, pedaling.
Mm-hmm.
So it's usually with the bass note, where you'll have a lot of changes happening, but technically your chord is staying the same. Technically, you have your lowest note is never changing. Bass pedaling, I think, is the correct term. I'm lost my term. It's been a while since I've been in college. But essentially means you have. If you listen to both of those, go back and play them again both, and listen. You'll hear one low note doesn't change.
Okay. Oh, please, I still have the. Nope, I don't still have that anymore. It's
sucks
not.
to suck.
All right. So I'll start with this one again. Go back to this one. Maybe it'll be in my recents. Yeah, there we go.
See what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's my assumption of why it sounds similar to you. But I could be wrong.
I mean, I don't know the reason why it sounds similar to me.
I mean, that's something similar that's happening.
It's also why I thought that there was one band that sang the song "God of Wonders," and there's another band that, like, it was not the same. It's not the same reason, but like there's a band that sang "God of Wonders," and there's another band that sang something completely different. And every time the song would come on, I would start singing "God of Wonders" to that song because of the way. And you said it had those two songs had identical chord progressions. Is it?
All praise and worship has identical chord progressions.
Yeah, but I think the other song wasn't praise and worship though.
Caedmon's Call and City on a Hill were essentially the majority of City on a Hill was part of Caedmon's Call, if I remember correctly.
Really?
And there's a Caedmon's Call song that literally was part of God of Wonders. Because City on a Hill is a Christian praise and worship supergroup, actually.
I knew City on a Hill was. I didn't know Caedmon's Call.
Caedmon's Call had a lot of the members of City on a Hill. The supergroup came from Caedmon's Call.
Okay.
So there, I don't know which one you're talking about right off the top of my head, but there's two City on a Hill albums, by the way, and
It was one of the songs that was on. It was one of the songs that made it to almost every album we put in our Indianapolis CDs.
I don't know then. I don't have those anymore.
They were in the Firebird.
That's true. It's dead. All right.
Didn't have to be though. That car was actually okay, and you're like, well, it's weird now, so I don't know.
Frankly, it was because I was told it was wrong by people who I thought were not lying to me.
It was just people who wanted a Firebird, is what it was.
Yeah, two people who wanted to jump it in a field is what ended up happening. It was great to watch. It wasn't at all traumatic on my life. Well, now we're depressed.
Speaking of depression, it's about that time
Hey! To be depressed?
to exit ourselves.
All right. Well, we've had... You just exited yourself. All right, we've had multiple drinks. That explains my feelings. And we had cake. We let them eat cake. And we talk about music, and we talk about that. That's pretty much everything. Okay, well, in that case, get the heck out.